Hello again, everyone from St. Anthony's. Here we are with our Unit 8, Lesson 4. This one's become very popular over the Regents. It is questions about what is known as the focus and the directrix of a parabola. So this topic has become one of the more important ones here at school, okay? We've got a new equation to go over, and that new equation for us is y equals 1 over 4p x minus h squared plus k. Just like before, h and k are the vertex. P this time, p is the distance from the focus to the vertex. Okay, I like to think of it as the distance from the vertex to the focus, and then the distance from the directrix to the vertex, because then it takes the sign into account. Now, really the only difference between this formula and the formula from yesterday is that we're replacing a with 1 over 4p. And this is going to be something that is, this formula is going to be more helpful for us in pre-calculus next year, okay? So, you've got two options. P can be positive. Remember, this is just a fancy way of saying positive. The numbers that are greater than 0 are the ones that are positive. Or P can be negative. Well, if P is positive, that's when you have a happy parabola. If you have a happy parabola, the focus is always inside the parabola, and the directrix is on the other side. The directrix does not ever touch the focus, the vertex. Strike that. The directrix never touches the parabola in general. If you have a negative P, that's when you have a sad parabola. So the parabola opens down, the focus is still inside of it, and the directrix is now above it. And remember, it does not touch that parabola, okay? So let's see if we can practice writing the equation here. The first thing that I want to go over with you is I just want to make sure that we understand the different aspects of it, okay? So I'm going to change some colors around over here. This piece right here, well, that's the piece that's physically on our parabola. That's known as our vertex. We've known about that. We've seen this part of the parabola before. This is our vertex, okay? And here's what's new. So if you look at this, we can open some of these questions. Which way does this parabola open? Well, it opens up. Okay, this opens upward. Up is fine. Now, if it opens up, that means that this point right here, this is known as our focus, okay? That focus is going to be p units away from the vertex, and it's going to be positive because I'm up, I'm opening up. It's going to be 1, 2, 3 units, okay? So this is a distance p equals 3. What is my vertex? Well, all I have to do is read from that. This looks like it has a vertex of 3, -2. What is the focus? Again, I just have to read for that. That looks like it has a focus of 3, 1. Now, one thing that I want to point out, I don't want to let this go any further. Your vertex and focus are always going to have the same x value, okay? They're always right on top of each other, so they'll always have the same x value. The directrix is a line. This line that we're talking about is always going to be horizontal, so it's going to be a y equals line. I just have to read it off. This is the line. Y equals -5. This is my directrix. Okay, so this is y equals -5. Now the axis of symmetry, you can remember that from Algebra 1. The axis of symmetry is the piece that goes right through your parabola, through the vertex. That's also a line. It's going to be a vertical line, so therefore it's x equals. And now because it's x equals, it's also going to be the same as what the x value was of our vertex and our focus. It's x equals 3. Now the equation. The equation, we said we're going to use the formula y equals 1 over 4p x minus h squared plus k. We just fill everything in. Remember, from our vertex, we get h and k, and here's my p-value. So when I fill this in, 1 over 4 times positive 3, x minus 3 squared minus 2. Opposite of the inside, same as the outside. When I simplify that, I'll get y equals 1 over 12, x minus 3 squared minus 2. Now, if you're wondering where the 12 came from, 4 times 3 is just 12, okay? So let's practice another one. We've got a different parabola over here. This one, I think you guys can kind of see, this one opens downward. If I open downward, that means that this piece is my focus. It's still on the inside, but because I open down, my p-value is going to be negative. It's only one value down, 1 unit down, excuse me. My vertex, which is right here, is going to be the point 1, 2, 3, negative 3. 1, 2, 3. Negative 3, positive 3. My focus is going to have the same x value, so negative 3. But this one's going to be 1, 2 units. So it's going to be, my p-value is 1, so it's 1 unit below. My directrix now. The directrix is up here. That's the line. Y equals 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, if I already know what my vertex and focus points are, that means that I know what my axis of symmetry is. It's x equals negative 3. We can draw it in if we need. One thing that I want to point out, I'm going to point it out a little bit later too. Your focus and directrix are the same amount of units away from the vertex, okay? In other words, what that means is that your vertex is located right in the middle of your focus and your directrix, okay? In your equation over here, let's see if we can figure this one out. Again, we have y equals 1 over 4p x minus h squared plus k. 1 over 4 times negative 1 x plus 3 squared plus 3. Just make sure you're taking the vertex point, not the focus, when it comes to writing it. Let me make sure I did that over there. Good. And then we have y equals negative 1/4. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. So that changes that fraction to negative 1/4. X plus 3 squared plus 3. Okay, so there's our first stuff with some focus and directrix. These questions, like I said, they do come up fairly often now on the Regents. Another thing I just want to point out is it is possible to have a sideways parabola. You'll actually see those more next year. They're still called parabolas, but it's not something that we have to touch upon right now. But this time, let's graph them. So if I have an equation this time, how am I going to know what everything is? Well, I can very easily get the vertex still. The vertex from this should be the opposite, the same. So I can plot my vertex. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Here's my vertex. Okay, but now what about the rest? Well, the rest comes from your p-value. And in order to find your p-value, what we're going to do to find that leading coefficient, I'm going to take this 1 over 4p, and I'm going to set that equal to 1/8. 1 over 8 equals 1 over 4p. When I cross multiply here, I get 4p is equal to 8. Divide both sides by 4, and I get p is equal to positive 2. From that, everything else just got unlocked. My p-value is positive 2. Well, if p is positive 2, that means that I open up. If I open up, that means that my focus has to be 1, 2 units above. That means my directrix has to be 2 units below. 1, 2. From there, I can find out what these are. My focus is now at the point, remember, it has the same x value. That's the point -1 though. My directrix, we said, is a line. It's always a y equals line, and it's going to be y equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So -5. And the axis of symmetry, that's an x equals, and it's whatever the x value of my vertex and focus are. But now we're not done graphing it. So how do I know what to do to graph it? Right? So it just does say graph each parabola. In order to graph, go 2p units to the left and right of your focus. Okay, so what I mean by that is if my p-value is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 units left, 1, 2, 3, 4 units right. And now what you do then we connect it to the vertex. So our graph looks like this. And that's all you need. You don't have to go fancier than that. You don't have to put any other points on this. That's it, just those 3 points, the 4 points, I guess, technically. The focus, the vertex, but you don't connect the vertex to the focus. You go 2p to the left, 2p to the right, and that's how you graph your parabola, okay? The last thing that I'm going to do, I labeled everything else, so I'm going to label this the directrix. Okay, so let's do one more of these ones. Now, if I look, in order to start this problem, what I have to do is I need to take this -1/12 and set that equal to 1 over 4p. Now, what does this do for me again? The thing that this does for me is this is going to give me 4p is equal to -12. And therefore p is equal to -3. If I know that p is -3, the rest just became unlocked. this opens down. My vertex, I can get that just from reading. That's negative 1, 1. Negative 1, positive 1. Here's my vertex, always label. My p-value is negative 3. That means that I'm going to go 3 units down for my focus. 1, 2, 3. Here's my focus. Okay. That's the point. Negative 1, negative 2. My directrix, I'm going to go 3 units above. 1, 2, 3. There's my directrix. That's the line y equals 1, 2, 3, 4. In my axis of symmetry, I already could have written that one down. That's going to be x equals negative 1. I already knew the x value because I get that from the vertex and the focus. Okay, but now I have to complete this graph. And in order for me to complete this graph, what do I have to do? I go 2p units to the left of f, 2p units to the right. So I'm going 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Don't worry about the negative there. We're just using the number 3. So I go 6 left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I connect all of this. And there is my parabola. Okay, so I can ask you these questions a whole bunch of different ways to write the equation. Now, in these ones, it just says a sketch may be helpful. So I don't actually need to find this to draw the sketch, but trust me, the sketch helps you. Okay, remember, you need 2 things to be able to write your equation. Okay, 2 things to write the equation. 2 things to write the equation. Those 2 things we need. The obvious one is your vertex. The second one is your p-value. Remember, your y equals 1 over 4p x minus h squared plus k. So once you have your vertex and your p-value, you're good to go. So in this question here, I have a vertex of 0, 0. I have a focus of 0, 2. Okay, I don't quite have everything, but I can find everything. If you remember, your p-value is the distance from the vertex to the focus. The focus is above, so it's positive, and it's 2 units away. So this equation here for number 5 is y equals 1 over 4 times 2 x minus 0 squared plus 0. I always start this way, and then I simplify when necessary. 4 times 2 is 8. X minus 0 squared is just x squared plus 0 I don't need. Okay? Over here, I have a vertex of 1, 3 and a directrix of y equals 6. So vertex is 1, 1, 2, 3. Here's my vertex. My directrix is y equals 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now, me personally, I like having my vertex and my focus. I don't love having the directrix because I like thinking of it to find my p-value. I like knowing where the focus is in regards to the to the vertex. So if I can find my focus, I can tell whether P is positive or negative. Well, if the directrix is above, and this is 1, 2, 3 units, that means that 1, 2, 3 units away has to be the focus. Well, now that I know that the focus is below, I know that my p-value is going to be negative 3. From there, I have 1 over 4p x minus h squared plus k. My vertex we said is 1, 3. My p-value is negative 3. 1 over 4 times negative 3, x minus 1 squared plus 3, and we simplify if necessary. Negative 1 over 12, x minus 1 squared plus 3. Okay, let's keep going. Now this one, I only have the focus and I only have the directrix. The focus is 0, 3. The directrix is y equals negative 5. And this is where, if you remember, I mentioned it before, and this is why I mentioned it. When you have to write your own, you need to be able to find your vertex sometimes. If I only give you the focus and the directrix, you need to be able to find the vertex still. And the way that we do that is we have to understand that the vertex is halfway between vertex is halfway between focus and directrix. So if I can find that, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, what's half of 8? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my vertex. Okay, it has to be. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good, I found my vertex. Now that I know where my vertex is, my p-value, the focus is above, so that's positive, and we already said it's 4 units. Y equals, since I haven't, I'm going to list it as 0, 1 since it wasn't given to me this time. I've got 1 over 4 times positive 4, x minus 0 squared minus 1, 1 over 16, x squared minus 1. One more of these to try. The vertex is negative 1, negative 2. The directrix is the x-axis. Remember, the x-axis is the line y equals 0. So that's right here. This one's light work. Trying to scare us, but not possible. Remember me, I like to do a little bit more work. If I know that this has a distance of 2, I'm going to go 1, 2 units down, and here's my focus. Therefore, my p-value, since it's below, is negative, and it's going to be a 2. Okay? So we got y equals 1 over 4 times negative 2, opposite of the negative 1, same as the negative 2, and we simplify. negative 1/8 x plus 1 squared minus 2. Okay, so hopefully this focus and directrix stuff's not as bad as we thought. The last type of questions that we have is when we have to convert them into vertex form themselves. Okay, so if we're converting into vertex form, if you look at both of these, the y values have coefficients here. That's okay. We're going to leave those for now. What we're going to do is we're going to complete the square on the other side. So we're going to move this 21 over. Now you have 4y minus 21 plus blank is equal to x squared minus 2x plus blank. How do I fill in that blank spot? Negative 2 over 2 squared, that's negative 1 squared, which is 1. 4y minus 20 is equal to x minus 1 squared. Remember, there's a reason that I do this, ladies and gentlemen. That was in yesterday's video. We're going to move this 20 back over. Now remember when we had the negative symbol in front of the y? And what did I do with that? Well, I divided it out. And I do the same thing when I have a coefficient. When you divide the term in parentheses, we're going to write it as a coefficient. It's going to be 1/4 x minus 1 squared plus 5 here. Okay. And now what do? We turn this into something like we had 2 sections ago, where I'm going to take this value. I'm going to take 1 over 4p, set that equal to 1 over 4. I cross multiply. I get p is positive 1. If p is positive 1, that means I open up. My vertex is 1, 5. And let's get the rest from the graph. Okay? I know this video is a little bit longer than we'd like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, these are just extra videos. So there's 1, 5. My focus is going to be up 1 more unit. We want to label everything. There's my vertex. Here's 1 unit above. That's my focus. That's the point 1, 6. My directrix, therefore, is 1 unit below. Okay, that's always the line y equals. In this case, it's going to be y equals 4. Axis of symmetry, I can already write that down. That's x equals 1. I have to finish the graph. In order to finish the graph, we said we go 2p units to the left, 2p units to the right of your focus. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and then I connect. There's my parabola. Okay, last problem. Same as always, I'm going to be a little bit quieter. I'm going to let you guys try this one. Remember, we're going to complete the square. Okay. So I am just gonna, these questions are a little bit longer. I am gonna interject. I got the equation y equals -1/8 x plus 4 squared plus 3. -24 divided by -8 is +3. And I got a p-value of -2. So if you didn't get that, try that again before you go to the other side. Okay? So if you have everything, you should have down a p-value of -2, a vertex of -4, 3. 2 units below that is your focus at -4, 1. 2 units above your vertex is your directrix at y equals 5. And your axis of symmetry, you already had the x value. It's x equals -4. You go 2 p units to the left of your focus, 2 p units to the right of your focus, and you connect your parabola. Hopefully this helps you with today's lesson. I'm here if you have any questions, as are all of your other teachers. The best way to learn is by asking and doing more math. Hopefully, well, I'll see you guys soon. We've got one more video for this lesson. Have a great day, everyone.